Hello! Welcome to my first long form video. I've not uploaded in a while. Don't care to upload. Sounds bad. Um, I'm just kind of doing this for fun. Just cause. I got this idea from a YouTuber called Go Herping. He went on different reptile subreddits and sorted by the most controversial posts. Um, I'm not much of a reptile expert, but I know a good amount about tarantulas, so I'm doing that. So, let me put myself in the corner. That is the wrong. That's the wrong capture. Now this one. Now let's put me in the corner. And there's a better way to do that I haven't figured out. Here are the most controversial posts on r/tarantulas. So our first post just found this dude. What does he need for basic care? I have no idea where to start. Okay, issue with this one is you have no idea where to start. You took an animal from the wild and you don't know what to do with it, and you shouldn't be keeping it as pet. Number one, most people do not like wild caught animals. There's many reasons for this, but in general, it's a no for wild caught animals. So that is one thing wrong with this. Number two, you don't know where to do. You should, before you get any pet or anything, make sure you know what you have. Make sure you know what to do with it. Always do your research before getting any pet, no matter what kind of pet it is. And make sure you look at different sources of research too. There are some people have different sources, and then you can kind of put together like what the most successful things in general have been, because not every source is going to be correct. And it's not every source is going to be perfect, and there are different reasons for this, so you can just kind of like blend everything together. But in general, do your research first. So don't take. So that's the issue with that one. I saw this post earlier, but we're not going to get into this one because that one was a more personal deal. This, we're looking at what we can say about tarantulas. In this one I have some opinions about. Help, my tarantula's on her back. What do I do? A lot of people, we're probably going to see a lot of these posts. What do I do? My tarantula is upside down. Is she dead? What's happening? Do I flip her over? So if you don't know tarantulas very well, if your tarantula is upside down, basically 99 out of 100 times it is molting. Usually it's not dead, and usually when tarantulas die, they actually die upright. So when a tarantula's upside down, it's molting its exoskeleton, and with that, you want to leave it alone. You don't want to touch a molting tarantula. That can be dangerous for the tarantula because they're very delicate during this stage, and something going wrong enough can kill them. That's not the only thing wrong with this post. The enclosure is not great. So that is definitely a terrestrial looking tarantula, and for terrestrial tarantulas you want their substrate to be very high for a number of reasons. A lot of them like to burrow, and tarantulas can very easily die from even a small fall or be injured. Terrestrial tarantulas are not strong climbers, and it's just being up height. It's not good. So it should be almost at the top with substrate, not like all the way at the top, but between the top of the enclosure and the substrate, it should be at least the tarantula's length, and then everything else should be substrate. So it's not enough substrate. And is that dried fruit? Why? I that's what I'm wondering. Is that dried fruit? There. Why? Why is there? I can't tell what that is. It looks like there's like a lemon in there, and I don't know why. Okay. First pet tarantula, backyard caught, California, bony male. Um, Definitely an Aphonopauma species, but what's wrong with this? Wild caught again. We don't like wild caught. Even with like mature males, number one, their lifespan isn't that long. So you taking yourself a mature male tarantula, you're only gonna have it for a couple months at most. Depending on when its ultimate molt was, you might only have it for a couple weeks. Mature male tarantulas do not live that long. And in that time, in that short time after they mature, that is times where they're looking for females and to mate, and they're basically always doing that, and to take it out of the wild during that time in its life is just not a good time. Just let it go out and mate. And again, in general, even females, wild caught is not the way. There's a number of reasons for that. Not gonna get too into. Sure, male pulchra got eaten. Um, I'm gonna assume that people just don't were unhappy to see a tarantula die sometimes during mating. So sometimes during mating, the females will eat the males. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And yeah, I'm not gonna click on that. Don't know if anyone wants to see that. I don't really want to see that. So I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna ignore that one and just assume people are upset because they didn't want to see something get eaten. Introducing my juvenile Balf to my three mature Balf. So the Monocentropus balfouri is one of the few tarantulas, and some consider it the only true tarantula that is communal. Um, they've uh, been kept in captivity in communal groups for many years, and everything and everyone, most people have success with it. Um, I've had success with it, which is awesome. They're an amazing species. Uh, so I don't know too much about how they works with communal stuff, but I'm gonna assume that the issue is usually when I see Balfouri communals, um, they're all from the same egg sac, so I'm assuming this is a new Balfouri. Well, assuming it's a juvenile being introduced to three, so it's a so I guess the issue is they're putting non-sibling Balfouris together. I don't know too much about that. You know what? Let's check the comments. We'll see what people say about this. I really don't want to be mixing Balfouris instead they're part of the same clutch, preferably raised together. Hope they won't hurt her. That is not great. Remove her. They will hurt her. They won't. I don't know if they will, but it's a chance. Can confirm I have colonies. I will not introduce. Yeah, that's the issue. So it's introducing new tarantulas into an already existing colony. Flipped him over. He still hasn't moved. Okay. So back to tarantulas will be upside down if they're molting. Why are you poking that one? That one's fine. You know that one's fine. Um, so my guess is the tarantula's molting. They didn't know. They didn't do their research beforehand, and they flipped over a molting tarantula, which is really bad. Um, that's really dangerous. I'm assuming they didn't know as much because it was just ships. So in my experience, a lot of times tarantulas will molt during shipping. Um, I I'm not sure why, whether it's the stress of being shipped or it is they can feel the pressure change of the locations and that makes them want to molt. Not entirely sure why, but I've had it happen once or twice and I've seen it happen to a few other people. So it's a thing. Sometimes tarantulas molt during shipping, weirdly often. So that's my assumption here is it was molting and they flipped it over, which you don't do. Especially and also just stop poking the tarantula over and over. And also, again, do your research beforehand. Wood chips, you don't do wood chips with the tarantula, not a proper enclosure. So, yeah. Early signs of DKS. Ah, not entirely sure what DKS stands for. I know what it is. They tarantulas almost like lose control of their body and can't move properly, and the twitching is what they're concerned about. So, let's see. Early signs of stop poking him. Yeah, you just stop poking him. Just stressing him out. Stop poking him. Yeah, just quit poking the tarantula over and over. Early signs of it's getting pissed off. I want to see. R slash tarantulas has a DKS auto reply. So this comment was triggered by a keyword unusual behavior. Just spider molting. Is this attacks movement slash DKS? Attacks with movement slash DKS. Some variations may apply, but the basis to ataxia is the spider's movement are involuntary, involuntarily uncoordinated. This ranges in severity, and the reasons are not easily identifiable. So that's just a general thing with DKS. That's what that means. Is there a way to gender pink toe slings? This is not urgent. It's just a question, really. Why did you put it with the help flare then? Anyway, you cannot sex a tarantula sling. You just can't. They're too young. Can't tell until they're older, and it's yeah. Honestly, I don't know if that was the lid to the enclosure, but it could probably get out of there too. Kind of looks dead. I don't think it's dead, because that's not what they're posting about. But yeah, you can't tell with these. Okay. um, can anyone help identify this tarantula? Okay, so you can see that's a tarantula, not a dog. The they put the tarantula in a dog cage. It's gonna get out of there. That a cardboard ground. That looks like cardboard down there. And it's oh my god. Yeah. Mm-mm. So simple enough. Once again, taking a mature male from the wild is my assumption here. I guess they didn't say they took it from outside, but help identifying this tarantula. It's a mature male and it's an Aphonopalma species, very likely. Which, I mean, not saying this post is from America, but are from the U.S., but phonopalmas are native to the U.S. For containing the lid would be better. Yeah, brachypalma vein. I disagree. Let's see. Okay. Wild tech. Wild tech. Okay, so it is wild. Uh, Texas. So definitely not a vegans. So brachypalma vegans was reclassified to Toledo cottle vegans, which back then it was brachypalma. Just pointing that out. That now it's not brachypalma, but um, some sort of a phonopalma. Again, wild caught mature male. Oh Jesus Christ! since a since a friend murdered my rose hair, look what I'm getting today. So excited! Caribbean versicolor, amazing tarantula, love them. What happened? Let my friend hold her. He panicked, drop her on the wood floors, and her ass. Um. Okay, yeah. So again, with tarantulas being sensitive to falls, they fall, they kind of explode. Um. So that's not great. With handling, there's huge debates on that. Um. So I've uploaded a couple videos on my channel uh, of me holding tarantulas. So I believe only one of them, what one video was on purpose. The other ones were either during rehousing or during like feedings they ran out, and I just took advantage of the fact that it was now on my hand to record. Um, so I did. I believe one of my videos I did do it on purpose. In general, I normally don't do it. It's a huge debate on whether it's okay or not. I'm not gonna go into that whole debate and explain all sides. I generally don't do it. Um, on rare occasions, I have done demonstrations and stuff when I have done it on purpose, like actual like demonstrations, not to show off or anything like that. You should not hold your tarantula just to show off or just for fun. Um, there are even though there are ways of doing it safely, in general, it is stressful for them, and there's no benefit to doing it at basically at all. In my cases of doing it, other than the one video I posted, yeah, maybe not my smartest choice, whatever. And I used, but my purposeful handlings in general have been for education. Again, I've done demonstrations with them and all that, and done proper precautions. There are ways of doing it safely. Even if you are doing it safely, there are still risks, and the tarantula will hate it. The tarantula will not, will be stressed out, will not be happy. So there's that. Um, and that is one of the reasons you don't hold it. You drop it, they can explode and die. Uh, and that's why if you do it, you follow proper precautions and do it safely. And there are and will always be risks. Can I open my tea's burrow to feed him? So tarantulas will often close their burrows for a few reasons. For two reasons I can think of off the top of my head. One, they just want to be left alone. And number two, they're going to molt soon and want to be left alone. They don't want anything in their burrow, anything bugging them. Um, so if your tarantula is closed off its burrow, don't open it. Wait till it comes out on its own. As long as that can take, I've had my curly hair tarantula closed off its burrow. And I did not see it for over 8 months. It went 8 months without coming out to get what I always give it a full water dish. Never once came out to get water. Um, I did not open it to feed it because you just don't do that. I was able to peek through a little gap with my flashlight to make sure she was okay, but she was perfectly fine for 8 months. She did not come out for food or water. She molted, and then she was out all the time eating great. So you should not open that. My OPT, I think this is going to be a YouTube link, so I'm not going to click on it. I'm assuming the issue is the enclosure, considering that's some sort of like a Rubik's Cube or something. Weird enclosure. That's my guess. What gender? Couldn't tell you. It could not, couldn't tell you. So there are ways to sex a tarantula by looking at the tarantula itself underneath. That is very unreliable. If you want a reliable way to sex your tarantula, it will always be through a molt. It is possible to do it through the vent, but again, very unreliable. So again, always reliable through a molt. And this is not how you look at a molt to tell how to do it. You need to open up the molt, open up the abdomen piece, and look into it. There are a lot of pictures on Google if you're curious on what that looks like. Just look up sexing tarantula molt and it'll show you diagrams and all of that. Okay, I gave her a roach last night and it was still there this morning. She attacked it. She attacked and I freaked out and accidentally flung her cage onto the hardwood floor. I read a ruptured abdomen can be fatal. I put her in the freezer before leaving. Ooh, this is bad. Okay, yeah, that does look like a ruptured abdomen. And they're often fatal. I don't know if they were putting it in the freezer and hoping to freeze that and keep that fine, or people have put tarantulas in the freezer for the way of euthanasia, which is very inhumane. Not recommended because they will suffer. Because tarantulas are hard on the outside and soft on the inside, they freeze from the inside out, and it's just a very painful and unpleasant process. And if you are going to put down a tarantula, and there can be reasons that it might be the best course of action, do not put your tarantula in the freezer. If you're going to put down tarantulas, disgusting as it may be, the proper way to do it, the most humane way to do it, blunt force, just squish all of it instantly. It's, again, unpleasant. I've heard soapy water can be very quick and humane. I'm not sure myself, but I can say for certainty that just like an instant squish is the most humane way. With the ruptured abdomen, it is often fatal. There are ways of helping. You can't super glue it, but then you risk super gluing their legs. Cornstarch is something that helps, like, keep that, because tarantula blood, hemolymph, I think it is, it does not clot like ours does. It will not scab. They will, I believe they continuously bleed until they just die. So you can put cornstarch and that'll kind of clot the area and stop the bleeding. And then which has to be replaced very often. And also super glue is risky. Again, tarantula can get its legs stuck, but it will be more permanent, and once the tarantula molts, oftentimes after a molt, it will be perfectly healed. One of my tarantulas, I came back home and she'd gotten her leg caught somewhere and it broke. The leg broke, she was bleeding, and I continued applying cornstarch Also, I did take out the thing she got stuck on, so that could not happen again. Um, and then I applied cornstarch, and she molted a couple days later. It was like it never happened. So, yeah. So just be careful. Don't. When it comes to tarantulas, they can be unpredictable. Always, you kind of always need to be prepared for them to do the worst thing possible. For them to just run out and do anything. Always be prepared for that. I dug into the venom potency of different species. I don't know. I'm curious about this. Huh? Potent doesn't necessarily mean fatal. I guess, I don't know. I'm not reading this whole thing right now, but assuming they got some mixed up some facts, there's no beginner tarantula. Okay, this is a long rant. Contrary to seemingly popular belief, there's no such thing as beginner tarantula. It's a long rant about that. So, yes and no. Um, Generally, when people are looking for a beginner tarantula, they're looking for something docile that tends to be like calm. So if you were to hold it, it would be fine. In general, most people say you should never ever hold a tarantula under any circumstances. So when you take that out, almost all care, not all care, but a good amount of it is pretty close to being exactly the same with how often you feed them and they're just general behavior. This isn't, again, always the case, but for the most part, care is not going to differ too much between species and species. So I guess so. My assumption is that they're arguing that there's no difference, um, as long as you're not holding it, which can be true, can't be true. I still would recommend a docile species for a beginner that is not gonna hold their tarantula ever, because of the fact I've had Old World's my Poecilothera regalis. I was feeding it. They're not a docile species. Ran out up my arm and down my back. Um, I've had an incident. I think I posted a video on YouTube. My Ephibobus cyanogithus, not a friendly species. She ran out on me and climbed up my arm and into my shirt. Um, that happens. I've had I've had a tarantula that ran out onto me and did actually bite me. Uh, Again, like all during feedings, never once in any of these scenarios did I purposely try and hold any of these tarantulas. Because number one, I generally don't with any tarantula, no matter how docile. Number two, all these species that are just not tarantulas I want to risk with, again, like my Poecilothera, they don't know how true it is, but rumored to be the most venomous tarantula species. Not gonna risk that on purpose. Would never do that. So having a calmer tarantula, more docile tarantula would be better, like during feedings, less likely to run out. Or anything like that if you need to rehouse them or just anything in general interacting with them for care reasons. A more docile tarantula will be better. Um, and some tarantulas do require slightly more care than others. Again, not by far, but yeah. Uh, my friendly Vicularia is, and she likes to hang out with me. No, she doesn't. Tarantulas don't like to hang out with you. They don't like being held, and yeah, that's all there is to say. That's so avicularias are a arboreal species. They're used to higher. They're used to heights. Again, shouldn't risk being that high up off the ground. mortal sin of handling CTs. I can't stop cringing. I can't stop cringing myself every time I read or see handling tarantulas stresses them out and is not recommended. I've had pets for years. I'm pretty sure some of them like it. As far as we know, they don't. Um, I mean, we are learning more about them in that they're smarter than we've given them credit for in the past. But as far as we know, just don't do it. Again, there are safe ways to do it, and there are some reasons that make it sort of okay, but for the most part, doing it for fun or just to show off, just don't do it. You shouldn't. Yeah. Is this a tarantula? It has 10 legs. Okay, that seems to be, yeah, that's a dead tarantula. So it is a tarantula, Phonopelma species, Phonopelma hensi, random guess. Has it had 10 legs? Yes and no. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 legs, right? So these two front legs are called pedipalps. They're like little feelers. It's almost, and I guess the most basic way I can describe it is they have 8 legs, these 4 on the sides, on each side, and then they have 2 little hands, 2 little arms. They're pedipalps, and they serve a different purpose. They use them for different things. They do use them to walk and stuff too, but for the most part, they kind of like carry them off the ground and use them for other things. Mature males, that's how mature males use them to breed. They they use their pedipalps and front legs to catch their prey usually, among other things they use them for. But yeah, they're pedipalps, not legs. But yeah, all tarantulas have 10 legs. Well, they have 8 legs, but 2 pedipalps. Phoenix's new house, her old place was full of poop. Incorrect substrate, again, like wood chips, which aren't high enough to begin with. Big rock is a danger. Could in general with tarantula enclosures, it's actually better to go smaller than it is larger usually. But I feel like this one could use a little more size to it. This is a decent sized tarantula. Rock's pretty dangerous with that fall. Don't see a water dish. Some people say tarantulas don't need water dishes, and people have had success keeping them without water dishes, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't give them to them. I see all of mine out all the time drinking water. They should, just because they can get most of their hydration through their prey and eating insects, doesn't mean they wouldn't be more comfortable and feel more hydrated with water. Me handling my friendly G. rosea. I see it on your face. So, remember when I brought up proper handling techniques? Putting the tarantula on your face is not a proper handling technique. I love being a spider mom. What's wrong with this? Let's see. That enclosure looks fine. Yeah. This is your 4th post already after buying your first tea. I'm pretty sure. So I'm betting you love attention more than being a spider mom. Who cares? Bro, it's, yeah. Does not look like that. No, looks like it's labeled correctly. I don't think you're right. But anyway, yeah, I guess it's controversial because it looks like, because she's seeking attention. Who cares? The enclosure looks fine. It looks like it kind of came from the expo. That's what it said. She got it from an expo. It came like that. But even so, I don't see anything wrong that's happening here. Nothing, no improper care, no risky handling. If she wants attention with her spider, as long as she's taking good care of it, who cares? Please Reddit, I beg of you for the third time, this bitch won't molt. Spussy, no, Spussy looks Spussy. Tarantula vent sexing, not very reliable. Possible, but not reliable. That I would not. I can sex a tarantula molt. I wouldn't know what to look for in an event. I'm assuming people are just mad. Like, just wait for it to molt. Nobody's gonna be able to give you a definitive answer. Yeah. Looks like a lady. 100% female. It's a freaking pussy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Event sexing. Just generally no. Tarantula1.jpg. He's got it on his face. I don't need to say anything. Is my spider dead? Your spider is molting. Not gonna go into that again. I hate spiders, but I really want a tarantula. I have a 2.5-year-old and dogs. I would probably remove it from its enclosure. Or I probably would remove it from its enclosure. Don't. If you're worried about risking it, don't. Oh my god, what is this? What is this? Ah! Okay. Okay. Please. I want to see this. I need to see this. Please! Let me see this image. Oh my god, this looks horrible. This open image. Okay. God damn it. Can I? Okay, I'm gonna get really close here. That is a... Okay, so they have their pink toe in a terrestrial enclosure. Pink toes are arboreal. And they have a heat lamp. No heat lamps for tarantulas. Never. They will cook themselves on it. They're fine at room temperature. The Mexican red nail. Oh. Hold on, mi amigo. I want some burritos and chimichangas. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else here, but it seems a little racist. What do the comments say? There's 3 comments. When I was a kid, this represented Mexico for me. This post is a choice. I'm not gonna get this. I don't really said anything about that, about why it's controversial, but that's what I don't know. Seems like it might be a little racist, I guess. I'm not gonna speak for any groups, but that's my that. See if he tries to punch me like Mike Tyson. So stop messing with your tarantula, please. It's a cute, I know you think it's a cute video, but that tarantula is terrified for its life. No, why are you? What's? Are you just? Is this just a video tormenting this poor Simani? Rightfully in sorted by controversial then. Okay, maybe it's being rehoused, but like stop poking it over and over. How can I make my mom let me get a tarantula? I don't know why this is controversial. I've seen a lot of posts like this, and there are ways to do it. I can make a video about it. I don't know if I'm gonna make too many more videos. I don't know, but there are ways to do it. That's I personally for me took a lot of convincing for me to get my first tarantula. I built a whole PowerPoint presentation on care and on like everything about them to show I know what I'm doing, and other slides to show just why I think I deserved one. Gender my GBV. You just can't do it with these molt pictures. It's the same thing. Again, Google tarantula molt sexing, look at the diagrams. I want to understand people who own arachnids, owning them, knowing the risks. I'm an arachnophobe, and I want to understand why humans have an affinity towards spiders. Just getting my bias out of the way. I don't get why some people want to own any predatory creatures. Tarantulas to me aren't an attractive pet. I would sell for a fish. Snake. I've tried to hold a tarantula before when I was 20. It didn't go well. Yeah, there's risks with any pets. Honestly, so you can see behind me. That way, I have a lot of spiders and stuff, and you can't see it. But on the other side of my room, I have even more. So, in my experience, my friendly cat has scratched me more times. Because again, you don't really want to hold them, but any animal can be dangerous. A dog, a cat, there are times any of them can snap. If, and that usually goes with improper care. You don't properly train your dog, and they might start biting people. I mean, it's happened. If you don't properly keep your tarantula in its enclosure and keep playing with it and stressing it out, it's gonna bite someone. It goes with any animal. Every animal has its risks. Yeah, that's all. But I don't think tarantulas. Of course, it can depend on the species and venom potency, but in my experience, tarantulas haven't been any more dangerous than owning a cat or a dog, which I've had in my life. We have 2 cats right now. Been scratched up by them and more hurt than any tarantula I've had. So, again, yeah. Again, also shouldn't be holding them in general. Of course, I'm in the middle on that. I can just not for fun. And spider checks away. People don't really want to see that in the subreddit. A lot of tarantula owners I've talked to are okay with feeding insects, but not rodents, for a number of reasons. Like with spiders, the rodent is going to live is okay. So the rodent is dangerous to the spider, as well as the fact that tarantulas is like, oh, they're venomous. No tarantula is gonna kill a rodent by the time it can suffer. That thing is going to suffer for a long time before it dies. And also, it's messy, and I believe less nutritious for a tarantula than a dubia roach. Buddy, that roach is okay. Just an unpleasant joke, I guess. Okay, rodent feeding. I'm gonna skip past it for sensitivity. There are reasons. Again, that's not good. If a T died, can it stick to? What am I? That tarantula looks alive, but that enclosure looks disgusting. There are fungus spores growing and a lot of mold that seems to be part of a mealworm, which is way too big for that tarantula. That tarantula looks alive and just poor thing. Sex? Can't tell. Okay, so we're just poking at a tarantula for fun. That's what we're doing here. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing here. Couldn't find a feeder supplier in 2 months. Where are you that you can't find a feeder supplier? You can order them like anywhere, in most pet stores have them. Um, finding bugs in a house, not something you want to do. They can be covered in pesticides or have parasites in them that can harm your tarantula. So that's something you don't want to do. Um, I guess at a certain point, being desperate enough, it's better than letting your animal starve. But I've had a tarantula be fine. 8 months and 2 months is a while, but as long as your tarantula isn't getting too skinny, I think it's less of a risk than to just wait. Could be wrong on that, but again, a lot of my tarantulas, even during pre-molt, even have gone so long without, like, months without eating. In the future, always have a backup like colony of dubias. Yeah, that's good advice. Um, yeah, okay. Right, loves to eat. Look at that booty. I don't know why it's it's, I guess, just stop feeding it. It's fat. Just stop feeding it until it molts. Like, you don't want to get your tarantula too fat. Like, that doesn't mean you should get your tarantula super fat and then just stop feeding it. But at a certain point, stop feeding it if it gets too fat. You think of my pink toe enclosure. His name's Greg, by the way. Not a great enclosure. It's more terrestrial. I mean, I've seen worse. It's not a dog cage, but it can be better. Help me pick my first tarantula. Hang on, getting a tarantula spiderling. I want to handle it a lot. Her absolute favorite meal. I'm gonna put a bet that it's a rodent or something unpleasant, and that's why it's controversial, so I'm not gonna show that. Why do people think tapping on the glass is okay? Some people tapped on my teeth. It's, I mean, generally you shouldn't tap on anything's glass because it'll stress it out, and tarantulas are very sensitive to vibrations. Um, but yeah, people don't know, so you explain it to them. Um, I mean, it's not something you should really do with anything, to just tap on the glass, because that can be really annoying. But I don't know. Ooh, not proper handling techniques. Also, not a tarantula. You should be handling. I mean, there there have been old worlds that will be super docile. Okay, many things wrong. Way too high up. A tarantula can rupture its abdomen from a fall of just a few inches. That is, a fat tarantula can very easily rupture its abdomen. So with tarantulas, you basically want to handle them on the ground, on a bed, like, to where they're not going to fall more than, like, um 3 to 5 inches or whatever. Um, Even that, and if they were to fall, it is directly onto a soft surface. If you're holding it over a hard surface, basically just keep your hand directly on the ground. Yeah. Also, the cat. That can be dangerous for the cat too, especially if the tarantula starts kicking its urticating hairs. Unpleasant for the cat. Yeah, you are asking for your cat to be an itchy mess and that tarantula to explode. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure you put it back after this video and it's still here, but don't risk it. If you are going to handle a tarantula, which again, usually you shouldn't. I've done it. Whatever. I'm sure almost everyone has done it at some point. Do it right, and that is not even close to the right way of doing it. Yeah. My boyo, what is this? What the? That is a okay. Egg Karin's dried fruit. What do you have a roach colony in your tarantula enclosure? I have a dubia roach colony in the same enclosure. Don't do this. Oh shit. Okay, number one, you overfeed your tarantula. Not good. Number two, if your tarantula molts, the dubias may eat your tarantula while it's soft. Number three, that will be very stressful to the tarantula to have dubias running around constantly. Number four, just don't do this. There's even more reasons not to do this. How do I know if my male tarantula is ready to fuck? Once it matures out, I guess, makes its sperm web, look for sperm webs. Yeah. Which one looks female? You can't. There's no way of knowing. You can't just take a picture of a bunch of tarantulas from the top and figure out which one's female. Generally, okay, a little thing I do when I am looking at a bunch of tarantulas from the same species and I'm hoping for a female, I do pick the smallest one because male tarantulas tend to grow and mature faster, but that doesn't mean anything. Like picking out a the smallest tarantula if you're looking for like a female brings your chance from a 50-50 to like a like a 51 or a 50.1 to a 49.9, like basically just like you're not it's not really any way to tell when it is size, but again, just with my experience of males growing faster, I pick out the smaller ones just for the hope that it might be a slow growing female. But again, that doesn't really mean much. Like tarantulas that are in a slightly warmer part of a room will grow faster. Tarantulas being fed more will grow faster. So yeah, that's not gonna tell at all. But a little thing I do for almost like just like a little good luck thing. Like I feel like it gives me more good luck to pick out the smaller one. And of course, in my experience picking out the smaller ones, I've gone a few males doing that. I've gone a few females doing it. It doesn't mean anything. But, it gives me more confidence. And I'm indecisive anyway. I'm like, even though it's the same species, I'm like, which one do I want? They're all so cute, even though they're all exactly the same. So I always go with the small one. Okay, finally found and rescued one. Poor thing. Okay, Petco. You didn't rescue it, unfortunately. So when you buy from places like PetSmart or Petco's, which you should never do for so many reasons, and I can make a long video based on that. Uh but why you're not saving it, like you're getting it at, like, oh, you're getting it out of an area where it's not being cared for properly and giving it a good home. Like, yeah, but after that, if those companies see, like, okay, we're starting to sell these tarantulas, let's order more so we have more to sell. So it's almost like you so it's almost like you just leave that so people see, like, okay, these aren't selling, we'll stop ordering them because people don't want them. And that's, yeah, you almost leave one to suffer at the hands of chain pet stores so more won't in the future. And that's why you're not really rescuing anything when you buy from chain pet stores and stuff. What does this mean? It's pretty tarantula. Now. It's intimidating. What does this mean? There's no comments. I don't know what this means. Your pink does not like to go in your hair. It's just looking for the highest point because it's an arboreal tarantula. And I'm gonna say it again. Proper handling techniques. If you're gonna handle a tarantula, use them. My grandma sold porcupines having their first superworm. Way too big. Yeah, don't give your tarantula a big meal like this. It's just don't do it. There's a few reasons, but I feel like watching this video, it's pretty obvious for at least one reason. Fed her a pinky, okay, baby mouse, baby rat, whatever. It came out for a rare time, so I'm gonna fuck with it and piss it off because I want a silly video. Don't do that. Why are you? You're gonna make it run back in and hide. There's no. Just don't do that. Male or female. Well, you get the idea by now. I think I'm not good enough to be a tea owner. I know I shouldn't post this, but I think I'm pretty bad with species of tea, so I won't be having any teas. Identifying species of teas of tarantulas has no correlation with care. You can have no idea what species, like, I mean, you should know what species you have. Learn the species you have and label it if you think you're going to forget. It's just a good idea so you know what you have. Um, but if you can't identify different tarantulas, that doesn't mean you won't be a good owner as long as you know what you're doing when it comes to actual care. What tarantula is this? Don't know, but holy fuck. That is a very small child and a very big tarantula. Yeah, we'll just let this image speak for yourself. I'm starting to feel a little skeptical about Fear Not Tarantulas. I've had good luck with them. Do your research into what breeders you're buying from. Just do that. And yeah, do your research with breeders. From what I've heard, Fear Not Tarantulas is one of the best. And in my experiences, I've had great experiences with them. I've bought from them a few times, but I've had a DOA from them. But yeah, I've had a couple DOAs from a couple like considered reputable breeders. It happens, and um, unfortunately, it may just kind of be my location. I live somewhere pretty hot, and or just bad luck. Okay, I just want to see their experience with them. I swear, over the past year, they've been slacking or something. My first order. Everything came in well. Even got a free sticker. Again, this video is dragging on, so do your research for the species you're buying and for the breeder you're buying from. Here's the top of your cage saying needs more ventilation. Screen lids are not good for tarantulas. Also, that looks like an Aphonopauma simani. They need a lot of substrate. And whether it's an Aphonopauma simani or not, definitely terrestrial. Needs a lot of substrate, not that much. Again, it needs to be like almost to the top. So screen lids are not good. Tarantulas can get their legs and fangs stuck on the screen lids and just get stuck and lose body parts doing that. And yeah, so in general, avoid screen lids if you can. But it seems he does have the ventilation. For people saying it didn't have any ventilation. Any thoughts on someone in my city? They're trying to. I don't. Zero upvotes and 0 comments. Don't know what's wrong with this. It looks like they're just looking for information on an obscure species with little information. Don't see the issue here. Ooh. So I don't have to say again, tarantulas need a lot of substrate. This has none. I don't see a single bit of substrate. Three. Well, I don't know what this is. That's a GBB sling. I know what that is. That's a Chromatopauma sinopepa. It's a tarantula. Don't know what that title means. And I don't know what that picture is. Okay, handling. Another handling debate. We're gonna ignore this. This tarantula became a scientific. So poached in the wild. I don't know what is. Okay, that person just says gorgeous. I don't know why this is controversial. It's this person is his person has just linked an article. So, oof. Nope. Rocks. Mm-mm. They need like dirt. Mm-mm. Also more substrate. GBBs are semi-arboreal, so they can go with less, and like sometimes you even give them like a little bit of substrate, and then they'll make these big web castles that go all the way to the top. But definitely shouldn't be this high with this little substrate, and the substrate should never be rocks. Do I need to say it again? I don't need to say it again. Ooh. Forgot he's terrestrial. Well, you gave him an arboreal enclosure, so how's he supposed to know? That is genuinely what PetSmart recommends. Another reason I don't like chain pet stores, or I didn't get into it, but a reason why chain pet stores are bad and you should not buy for them. Their care techniques. This is exactly what my local PetSmart recommends as an enclosure. It's wrong. That's a terrestrial tarantula. Should have a longer enclosure, not taller, more substrate, and they also directly recommend a screen lid, which you don't, and a heat lamp, which I've already discussed earlier. Neither are appropriate. And okay, so this is why you give a tarantula a lot of substrate. If it does climb and it falls, it'll be fine. And this is why you don't give it a screen lid. This enclosure has a screen lid. The tarantula got stuck on the screen lid. I've used these enclosures before. I do have one tarantula still in one of these enclosures, an arboreal, but for the most part, I've gotten rid of most of them and replaced them with better enclosures without screen lids. And I have padded the screen to make sure it's not going to get stuck or anything. I've kind of modified it myself. But yeah. So out there, Metallica. Not a species you want to handle. Again, proper handling techniques way too high. Also, medically significant old world species that are not known to be friendly. Just not something I would risk for your own safety. YouTube link, not going to click on it. Molten, I was wondering if you can. Too young and not with that. Those bills. Those. Bill. This bill. Now I'm just curious on what this is. Paid last month. What do you think? Not good. Needs more substrate. That's a GBB. Okay, needs more substrate, and it almost can downsize it, possibly. Again, a lot of times with tarantulas, going smaller is better than going bigger. Bot fire. Bot. Oh, that's gross. Depends where you get it, I guess. Anything from the wild? Okay, if it's wild, then no. My girlfriend pulled this from a 2-pound kitten. Yeah, no, I would not. Shit. I would not do that. I would not feed your tarantula that. Okay, that's where we were. Male or female? Then sexing, also poor picture for that. Most petable booty. In your opinion, what tarantula has the most petable booty? I think Balfouri little kiwi butts are the absolute cutest, and I want to pet all of them. You shouldn't. I don't know. I think this is kind of like a cute post if you're not like advocating for like genuinely petting tarantulas, because for New World tarantulas, you're gonna get urticating hairs all over yourself. Also, like if you're handling a tarantula and you have a reason to handle a tarantula, then you have a reason. There's no reason to just start petting a tarantula. And Jupulcra hasn't eaten 2 weeks and is closed off its burrow. Okay, we've talked about the burrow thing. 2 weeks is nothing. For most part, you feed a tarantula like once a week. Depending on how you feed it, like how big the meal is. You're fine. The tarantula is almost definitely in pre-molt. Tarantulas will stop eating when they're gonna molt and close off their burrow. They're fine. I've had my curly hair go 8 months without eating. I've had another tarantula go 5 months. Even with offered food, sometimes they just refuse it for months at a time, and they are both still thriving and eating now. They just decide not to eat. Ooh, someone help me if this is a real tarantula or a false one. That looks like a real tarantula. Dwarf species, maybe. Because that looks like it might be a mature male. Could be wrong. But those pedipalps look kind of fat. And yeah, that's just not how you keep a tarantula. Side pick, it's about halfway is fine. Should go higher. What's going on here? Absolutely not. It's removed. We won't know. We'll never know. What are my Cambridge slings? What's your favorite Sommelpaeus? Why is this controversial? Just asking what your favorite Sommelpaeus is. What's my favorite Sommelpaeus? I love the Erminias. I think my favorite Sommelpaeus is the Erminia. She's pissed. How did I not get bit? Sounds like they not gonna watch this, but it seems like they we're not following proper procedure. How to make the home less desirable to tarantulas. Seems like they have a problem with tarantulas getting their home. Problem I wish I had. But it's funny, they come to the tarantula subreddit, a community for the love of these animals. How do I get rid of them? I mean, I guess if anyone would know what they didn't want, we would. Need help ASAP. My Mexican Firelake hasn't eaten since I got her about a month ago. You're fine. She molted a week ago. Once a tarantula molts, give it a week or even better, 2 weeks before trying to feed it because their fangs are soft. Yeah, you're fine. Say hi to my first tarantula. Sorry for bad quality. There's a tarantula in this picture. Ooh. Congratulations on your first tarantula. Um, we can make out that there is, in fact, probably a spider in this picture. Congratulations. Sorry, your picture sucked, and sorry you're one of the most controversial posts on the subreddit. Video I took of my. Okay. This is. Don't do this with the tarantula. Just don't. It is really impressive. There are videos of them doing this in the wild, so you can. I've seen people make the claim they do it in the wild, so why not? But they don't. They had to in the wild. Here they don't have to, and there's no reason to do it. It's amazing. It's really cool, but it's not nice. First upsies. Proper handling technique. It's too high up and stuff. Yeah. Again, probably shouldn't be handling unless there's a reason. Again, I have. Ooh, okay, nope. Wild little guy. Leave him alone. He's looking for. Oh, you just got. You're gonna be itchy. You just got urticating hairs directly into your hands. You are gonna be itchy. Leave him alone. He's looking for the. He's looking for some booty. He's looking for a girlfriend. Is that is is this a pussy? Vent sexing. Your tarantulas need substrate. Yes, that's always you always need more substrate. What are your feelings about the Dark Den? I feel he's way too irresponsible and unsafe for such a huge influence in the hobby. I'm not gonna give my opinion. I have opinions about him. I have both positive and negative opinions. He is one of those people like for the most part, it seems like all of his tarantulas do very well. It seems. But he is one of those people who do not give their tarantulas water dishes, I believe. Um last last I heard he wasn't. I don't know if he started doing it or anything, but last I heard he wasn't. And he's been one of those people who had success doing it. So it's not that like his tarantulas are dying, but and he seems to genuinely care for them. But there are like little things. There's positive and negatives I have about him. Why are people using common names? I mean, just use a scientific one. Common names are way too inaccurate to identify. Which I think one of the biggest is this kind of attitude. Common names are inaccurate on occasion, but general preference and situational. More normal people that have one don't care enough to learn. It depends. Yeah, if you're. I mean, I don't think it really matters unless you're truly trying to identify a specific species. It's a debate I used to have with my dad. I use scientific names. Um, and I would usually use common names with him. And then like he would yell at me when I would talk to another like breeder at a store using the scientific names. I don't know if he felt dumb or anything that he didn't understand what we were talking about, but he would yell at me for using scientific names, and like it would be a whole argument that would go on. This argument is like, well, if you say a red leg tarantula, I can kind of picture it in my head. Like, well, yeah, but if you're trying to properly identify a tarantula, um, red leg can go for many different species. What do you? There's the Colombian red leg. You think Mexican red leg, and then you go down to Mexican red legs. I've heard Brachypelma humoris, Brachypelma smithis, Brachypelma bomais, Brachypelma amelias, um, couple other brachypelmas, all under the name, or all be referred to as red legs, Mexican red legs. So proper identification, use scientific names, but in general, if you don't care, you don't care. Can anyone sex this dude? That would be great. No. It's the best beginner tarantula. I'm trying to get. I'm 14. I want to get my first tarantula. That would be best for handling. Um, don't handle it. I got my first tarantula when I was 13. So, yeah, awesome. Get into it. Like, that's fine if you're getting into it young. I'm still young. Um, yeah. Just don't handle it. Just probably shouldn't go off handling. I would just be handle and oh wait, I will just show to my friends, and when I clean its crate, so it won't be often. Don't do it to show off, definitely. At least no, you can't. They will burrow into the ground, and eventually become beetles that can eat your tarantula if it decides to molt. Um, it seems unlikely, but I've talked to a couple people who left food in a tarantula's enclosure, who left worms in a tarantula enclosure. They became beetles and then ate the tarantula while it was molting. Has not happened to me. Have not done that. I don't leave things in there, but it's happened to people I've talked to. What do you think of my setup? I'm assuming it's the paper towels in the water dishes, which holds bacteria and also just doesn't do. Don't. Okay. Don't do that with the tarantula, especially without proper reason. I had a tarantula that I did do this with once. Um, I suspected parasites. I suspected nematodes. I just wanted to be sure. Um, I checked, and I checked. We were good and all that, but just don't do that to sex. And again, the vent sexing inaccurate. How long should I wait before I can handle her? About a year and a half old. I don't know if she's a year and a half old. Um my Arizona blonde sling, my Phonopelma calcoti sling, still fits on the tip of my pinky and is a couple years old. They're so slow growing. Um, Again, handling. I think this person just pulled this picture from online. I wonder if this could be wrong. Maybe they took it. Why? Oh yeah, just took it from Wikipedia. I did. Okay. Why? I don't. They just posted the. Okay. Gorgeous tarantula. Move if not allowed. Um, I made pride tarantulas. These are adorable. Okay, so this is simultaneously on um on the top posts of all time and the most controversial. This is a community spotlight post. The mods and just most people love this. Daily reminder, this is art. It's on topic. Trans rights are human rights. People exist. If you don't like it, leave it. I'm assuming it's controversial because a bunch of homophobes got mad. Can I sort by controversial comments? I can. Let's see. Is anyone cute? Deleted. 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 Delete a lot of deleted comments. I'm assuming it was a couple assholes who made this. Saw this on Facebook. Well, it's not yours. So improper handling technique. What's on my tarantula? Oh dear God. Okay, that is a dead tarantula covered in maggots. Couple debates on tarantulas and pinkies. Okay, this is feeding mice. No, she's not dead. She's not about to molt. Sometimes she's so. Why would you do that? I mean, just because she lets you doesn't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's all I have to say with that one. Boy or girl? That's a mature male tarantula that I'm assuming you. I'm just gonna assume because it's another mature male of Phonopalma that you have no idea what you're doing with. You took it from the wild. Completely improper enclosure. If you're not tarantulas being strange. Delayed my order twice. They probably have a reason. I don't know. Again, I've had good experiences with them. So, found in the road, brought it home, don't bring it home. Can I keep doing the same take? Nope. Doug says, rock the vote. Not gonna give my political opinion. And that's probably why it's controversial. Someone gave their political opinion. Am I the asshole, but make it spiders? There's a time for a million. Irony. I don't want to read all that. Pinto died because of me. I'm not gonna read long posts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry this happens. And if you can, of course, if you can prevent things, prevent it. But mistakes do happen. And yeah, mistakes do happen, and just learn from them. Yeah. So what this is, I'm skipping past as a teen owner. Does anyone find this disturbing? Yeah, yes and no. It's interesting but disturbing. They're using it as a claw. Yeah, improper handling. It just not smart. Not oh shit. Not smart. I was wondering if it was a tarantula. Why is it in water? Sorry, is it underwater? Found it in the water. Why are you just leaving it in the water? Den beetle. Not enough substrate. Oh god, don't do that. Don't do that. Why? Just use tongs. Use tongs. Just use tongs, please. Appropriate feeding. I'm gonna go with a rodent. That it's a rodent. Goliath, bird eating tarantula. Okay. Yeah, another rodent. Looking for cool people in the hobby, preferably queer friends. Open, but I'm open to all. Oh, they're just looking for friends. And I guess a preference for queer friends. Pinky Mouse, nope. I had a photo shoot with my tarantula taxidermy. Okay, I'm sure people didn't like seeing it. I mean, actually, that got okay. But it's a dead tarantula, so can't. Very dehydrated. I don't know. Not eating food. Set to 72 degrees if that's Fahrenheit. That seems a little low for a tarantula, I think. But it shouldn't be too high for a tarantula either. Like just like room temperature. I don't know. I think the general thing is like between 75 and 80 are comfortable for tarantulas, something like that. Uh, Possibly pre-molt. I don't know. Can't help you without pictures or anything. Is this enough substrate? No, it isn't. Phonopalmasimani? Definitely not. Mine lived underground. Does my does my tarantula have anorexia? Tarantula not eating. Probably pre-molt, but it's fine. What's that? Don't know. Pieces. Tarantula not eating. That's fine. It's my selling male female. Events that my spider won't eat. Experience with fear not tarantulas. Is seems like a lot of people are having issues with fear. Not now, I guess. I don't know. If for tame my tarantula, not something that'll happen. Looking for tarantulas that does not need roaches. None of them technically need roaches, but they are the healthiest thing. Parasites in my feeders. Improper care. How will this enclosure fit my Phonopama bicolor? I really wanted a Phonopama bicolor. Not an enclosure to put in a Phonopama bicolor in. Can't sex it. Dryer sheets. Smells. Bad for teas. Any ideas on male or female? It looks like most of these posts are now just male or female, tarantula won't eat, general stuff. And this video has gone on for a long time. Probably not a single person has watched this through its entirety. That's fine. I probably wouldn't either. Maybe I would. Don't know. If you have, thank you. Let me know you did. Just cause I don't think this video is gonna get more than like 3 views. I don't expect any traction on this video. But if you did watch it, and if you did watch it all the way through, just comment, because I'm curious now if one of 3 people watched it all. I don't know, I think, just let me know. Yeah, so those were the most controversial posts on r/tarantulas. Will I be uploading more? Probably not. I have a lot of videos ideas for shorter long form content. And I have like a lot of things. I have like, if you've seen my community post, I said I had months worth of videos that I just haven't uploaded. That's still true. I still have them somewhere, I think. Am I gonna upload them? Probably not. But, you know, maybe people will see this video. I just don't have motivation because, I just don't have motivation to grow my subscribers, but it would be nice if I had, if I did have a couple consistent viewers, that would be, like, just for the fact of getting to discuss my interests would be fun. Yeah, I'm not doing, if I do ever start uploading, it will not be what I've done in the past. It will not be just short videos with like whatever popular like TikTok sounds there are at the time. If I did start uploading, it would be basically all long form content. Yeah. Just because, I don't know. What I want to do is, I just don't have the motivation to like pull out my camera and like scroll through songs. Like, it's not that hard, but like, it's just, annoying for that to be what I upload. But if I get a chance to discuss my interests and stuff, I will do that more. I just don't want to do the shorts thing. Does that mean I'm going to start uploading long form things? Probably not. Maybe. Let me know if you watched it all. If you did, might start doing longer videos. They're not all going to be an hour and a half. I just have a lot of time on my hands and I'm bored and I wanted to do this. And if I did start uploading, I don't have a lot of motivation. I have a lot going on right now, so it would not be often. But they would actually have purpose. They would have interest. They would have like I would put heart into my videos. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I don't really need to say too much. Yeah, again, let me know if you've seen it or seen up to here. And if you have, I would. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, maybe I'll upload. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Don't have the motivation. Don't have the community. Don't have the community to care if I have motivation. I don't have many subscribers. Don't get too many views, and I rarely get comments. So it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely unmotivating to post again. The shorts, like, because those were just getting views, no subscribers, and I'm not. So if I were to continue doing this, I wouldn't mind uploading to 0 subscribers and like 3 views every upload. I don't care about growth. I don't care. But what I care about is if I want heart in my videos. I want it to be talking about my interests. I don't want to just put some like popular TikTok sound or whatever on just like a short video of me feeding my tarantula. I want to put heart into my videos. I want them to have purpose. So yeah. Maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I mean, I'd like to. I mean, this was a lot of fun. Just to talk. And I have ideas. So, maybe just for fun, I'll do it. See? Not that anyone cares. Not that anyone's hearing this. Because no one's gonna watch the hour and a half video. Anyway, I'm just rambling. I'm tired. It's 1 a.m. I'm just bored. If you did, thank you. If you are here. Again, if you are, comment. Just because I'm curious if like 1 out of 3 people who end up watching this will make it this far. Just out of curiosity. Again, if I do upload, it will never be this long again. I mean, it might be. But in general, my videos will be 10 to 20 minutes. For the ideas I have. And they'll all have heart. They'll all have heart. I'm saying it like this is definitely going to happen. I have no clue. Chances are it's not. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Okay, bye. Bye.